Yeah, hi, good morning. It is Monday morning here in the UK and it's kind of early, 6:41, and I thought I'd like to start the week this morning talking about our new UK product, which I think is probably, after working in property for 30 years, I think it's probably not the most exciting, but the most hands-off investment I've ever seen in working in property for 30 years. Now, as you know, as a company, we're a US-based company, and over the last 11 years have sold a lot of properties in the US, but the name of the company is Global Investments, so it's not called USA Investments, hence the reason we've just launched in Dubai. So basically, as you know, there's economic conditions around the world right now are not the best, but I think they create opportunities, especially for investors that are cash rich. The US dollar is strong, you've got a market crisis around the world, and it gives, I think, amazing opportunities to be taken. Like I said, for people who have cash in the bank and are looking for good returns. So, just to try and sum up what we've done, right now in the UK there's a massive social housing crisis. So we've teamed up with a partner here in the northeast, actually, which is where I'm based at the moment, in Newcastle. And this partner basically buys and renovates UK properties, and they have an agreement with the social housing department here in the UK, which is basically backed by the government. So it's to me, it's like, the returns are anywhere between 8 and 9%, depending on whether you buy I'll come to it later on, but depending on whether you buy a 2-bed, 3-bed or 4-bed. I think the 2-beds are 8%, the 3-beds are 9%, and the 4-beds are 9% as well. And we also have multi-family homes ranging right up to £500,000, right up to maybe £700,000 or £800,000. So for me, it's almost like the S&P 500, which I'm sure everybody's aware of. The S&P 500. It would generate you anything between 7 and right up to 10% a year over the last 50 or 60 years, as long as you're in all the time. So your money is in all the time. But the difference with this investment is it's asset backed. So you actually own a property as well. So you're guaranteed the returns over the next 25 years by the Social Housing Authority here in the UK. And the great thing about it is, if you look at the risks involved in property, you've got vacancy and you've got maintenance. So with this product, there is no running costs. The only running cost that you have is the insurance. And the insurance is like, I don't know, £400 to £500 per year. But when it comes to vacancy, and it comes to maintenance, and it comes to management, you have zero cost. So the social housing department, they take care of everything. So if the property is vacant, you get your returns. If the property needs work, you get your returns. There's no management charge. So basically, that's why I think it's the most hands-off product, or if you want to call it a vehicle. It's not even like you're buying a property. To me, it's like you're buying a vehicle, an investment vehicle that's going to guarantee you over the next 25 years 8 or 9%. And you can also exit at any time as well. So if, let's say in 10 years time you need your cash back, then you can exit and sell the property with the lease still attached. So whoever buys the property from you buys the lease and the agreement with the social housing department as well. So for example, even not taking the CPI into consideration, £120,000 house So you buy a £120,000 house from us at the moment, that will give you £270,000 over the next 25 years with zero running cost, nothing. The prices range from, like I said, 90,000 up to 150,000. That's for like a single family home, a 2-bed, 3-bed or a 4-bed. But we also have for larger investors with lump sums of cash. If you've got £500,000 or £1 million, we can find, it's not easy, but we can find, or this developer can produce 6-unit buildings, 8-unit buildings with the same contracts with the social housing department at 8 or 9%. So whatever your budget is, remember these are all cash purchases, no finance, no mortgages, everything has to be cash. I was reading an article in the Financial Times. The housing crisis here in the UK, it sits at the centre of what's going on with the UK economy right now and the illness that the UK has. It's got, I think, 4 million houses missing, which need to be provided from somewhere. Somebody needs to get them. So at the minute, I think that the government are building or planning on building 300,000 houses a year, which it would take like, I think, half a century to fill the deficit of houses that are needed. So there's a huge problem in the UK, which is where this developer comes in, and I think it's a great idea. I think the only issue that we're going to have is there's going to be a lot of demand for this product, but it's how quick we can get the properties. At the minute they come in, they sell pretty quickly, you know. So I think if you have cash in the bank and you're looking at securing 8 or 9% a year, then this is without a doubt the most hands-off investment I've seen in 30 years of selling properties. Most of the properties that we sell would be based here in the northeast, in areas like Hartlepool. They come fully renovated, so before you close on the properties everything is new inside them. But again, there's full insurance which is included by the housing association to protect the property against any damage. So if there's any damage to the property, let's say a tenant comes in, damages the property, so if there's any damage in the property, the government step in and they do the repairs. There's no management. If the property is vacant, you still get your rent. So the funding covers your council tax, your utilities, a budget to maintain and manage the property, insurance against damages. Any other common running costs of acquiring a rental property are covered by the social housing department. Also, the property rent will be linked to the CPI, which is the consumer price index, plus another 3%. So with this deal, the guarantees are a net of 8 or 9% for the next 25 years with the housing association contract, but potentially those rents could go up as well, so the returns could be higher. Now that's not a guarantee, but potentially it could happen. So now don't get me wrong, the prices in these areas, so for example, if I send you a property, or Barry or Marcella or Scott or Ian sends you a property at, let's say, £120,000, will you be able to find a property on the same street cheaper? 100%. You might be able to find one at 60,000, 70,000. So you're going to say to me, Mike, the property's overpriced. But my point is, you are not buying a property. You're buying an investment vehicle that is going to give you a return of 8 or 9% over the next 25 years with no running costs, no maintenance, zero vacancy. So you're not buying a property, you're buying, it's a package, you're buying the numbers, if you want to call it that. So that's the way you need to look at it. And the houses are fully refurbished. So if you want to like go and buy a property on the same street for £70,000. It might be in bad condition, you need to spend money on it, it doesn't have a contract with the social housing department, you are going to need to pay management, you are going to need to pay insurance. If the property's vacant, you're not going to get any rent. So you have to take all of these things into consideration. And to achieve 8 or 9% guaranteed for 25 years, and then in 25 years' time, you still own the property, which the likelihood is in 25 years, the property is going to be worth an awful lot more than what you paid for it, because history tells us that, you know? Anyway, I just think it's a fantastic opportunity. It's very different to what we sell in the US. So I think it could be for a different type of investor, an investor looking for less risk or is adverse to less risk and just wants to basically sit back and get their check every month. And if you've got money sat in the bank or anywhere else, you're going to be getting 8 or 8.5% more than what you're getting at the moment with the money sat in the bank. So as you can imagine, you know, when we get these properties in, they do sell fast. So I think right now we have maybe 3 or 4 available, which will be getting sent out this week. They'll all sell this week. To reserve a unit, you need £5,000 deposit. The closing is pretty quick. So the closing is normally within 30 to I think 60 days probably maximum, which is actually really quick for here in the UK, because I've experienced myself buying buy-to-let properties here in the UK where it can take up to sometimes, I don't know, 6 to 9 months to exchange on a property. So the bottom line is, trying to sum it up and put it into a brief nutshell for you, you can pick up a 3-bed terraced house for £90,000. Your net annual rent is £7,200 a year, or even more if you take a 3-bed, because it would be 9%. And it comes with a 25-year lease with the social housing department. So it's so hands off. The legal costs are going to run you at around about I think £1,000 to £1,500. You may have to pay stamp duty of around about 3% as well. So they're the only costs, if you want to call it, on top of the investment, which is normal, like buying any property in the US, the UK, Turkey, France, Spain. I think in Spain the costs are around about 12%, or certainly 10%. So yeah, I mean, the prices are great, the returns are fantastic, no running costs, no maintenance. I think the biggest issue that we have as a company with this product will be inventory. But I just wanted to do it's like I said, it's Monday morning, and I think it's a great opportunity for people. Like I said, you know, the world is in a strange place right now with markets in crisis, and certainly the housing crisis in the UK is going to give opportunities to people to get these types of returns. And you know, I invest myself in UK property, US property, I've got properties elsewhere, but I also invest in the stock market, the S&P 500, and I think the S&P 500 is a fantastic investment. And when I first sat down with this developer, the first thing that came into my mind was the S&P 500. I was like, geez, this is like the S&P 500, but I own a property at the same time. It's like, you know, like I said right at the start of this video, it's like the S&P 500, but asset backed, and at the end of it, you've got an asset to sell, which I think is fantastic, you know. So if you're interested and if this is the type of investment that you're looking for, and you really do want it hands off, and you do have cash in the bank, remember, all of the properties are cash purchase. There's no mortgages. We get maybe 2 to 3 houses a week from this developer, I'm trying to push them to get a little bit more because we've got a lot of demand for the houses at the moment. But you can check our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a UK website as well. So I'll put the UK website above here, along with our US website as well, because the US website actually has the UK properties. We're also going to create a waiting list as well. So for example, let's say this week 2 to 3 properties they sell out. So if you would like to join the waiting list, I'm going to speak to the attorneys or the lawyers, as we call them here in the UK, and see if it's okay that if you want to go on a wait list, and for the next properties that come in, you can pay a £5,000 deposit, and the next batch of properties that come in, you can go on that list, and so the next one that comes in, you get it. Because the bottom line is, like I said to the guys yesterday, I did a bit of training with some of the staff yesterday, and it's not like you're buying a property. You're buying a vehicle which is going to give you 8 or 9%, but you still own an asset at the end of it. So it's not like you're going to live in the property, go see the property. It's you're buying the numbers. So that's the way you need to look at it. It's not how the property looks and so on. So zero running costs, zero management, zero maintenance. Like I said, it's the most hands-off investment I've seen in 30 years of selling property. So I hope that helps. If you'd like to have a call with myself or any of the guys just to run through with you, or you'd like some information, send via email. I'll put the email address up here as well, so you can drop us an email and ask for some more information, or for whatever properties are available right now, and see what you think. But I think it's a great opportunity that could be around for a while, but it mightn't be as well. So I think it's fantastic, and it's going to add to our inventory and add to our stock. So anyway, I'll leave it with that. You guys have a great Monday, a great week, and I'll see you soon.